Right, everyone. So Drew McIntyre took a real jab at Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager. So he responded, typical Drew McIntyre, flapping his lips and storming out the door. He'll be fun for a few Fridays. Those same lips firmly flush on all this until he doesn't get his way or get his own way or gets in his own way, both of which are always typical. Claymore, nah, cry more. So I love this. I love the fact that you have like these general managers who are part of the company that are becoming so like like the wrestlers hate them. You know what I mean? It's just kind of awesome. It's better than like when they used to have like the celebrity general manager. Like the wrestlers legitimately don't like Adam Pearce or don't like all this, and you see him every week. There's some funny thing that comes out of it. And I also like the narrative now they're getting with Drew McIntyre, which is this guy's a whiner. They're like people are really going at him over this, and that's going to be able to be used and kind of build up these storylines, and that's a perfect heel thing to do. The heel thing to do is to be the biggest whiner and complainer and constantly self-righteous about everything, and that's exactly what Drew McIntyre is doing. So I thought this was kind of funny. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So LA Knight took a little bit of a jab at Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. He was saying the three things that are guaranteed in life is life, taxes, and Drew McIntyre crying like a damn baby. Now, why this is interesting is because after the Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre was pissed off. LA Knight was reportedly the guy that he was mostly pissed off about over, a botched, like it was supposed to be him getting eliminated by Damian Priest. That was this big moment, but because of LA Knight and Logan Paul, something that happened there, it kind of ruined it a little bit. And so he was upset. So Drew McIntyre, how does he feel about it? This is from Ringside News. While the promo may have sounded personal, sources via Fightful Select say there was no real tension between the two. WWE source also noted that their match got a little physical, but both men walked away fine with no issues afterward. McIntyre had no problem with Knight's promo either, as was evident from his reaction on TV. One backstage source admitted that having the behind the scenes frustrations leak wasn't ideal, but WWE saw it as an opportunity to turn real life tension into entertainment. Both McIntyre and Knight played into the moment perfectly, making for an intense showdown ahead of the Elimination Chamber. So I guess no big deal. It's up and it's over. And we talked about this. We said this was a big moment for Triple H. Drew McIntyre, what he's upset about is something Triple H really can't fix. Okay. Triple H is not going to be able to get him into the main event scene. And I know there's no report saying he wants to be, like in a championship match at WrestleMania. But from kind of piecing together all these reports we do have, that part of his frustration is the fact that he probably feels like I should be not in, you know, the main event like adjacent scene, but in these actual title matches. And so he feels like some of these rivalries he's in are the stories just aren't being told properly. And I think it kind of boiled over at the Royal Rumble where he already doesn't want to be in this match with Damian Priest, it seems. And yet the spot to set it up backfired. And so that's just so much frustration. So my guess is it's really not frustration with LA Knight, and he probably realizes that more now, where it's like, okay, LA Knight screwed up, but that's not the real reason why he's super frustrated, right? So, this is good, and I like how they turned it into a real life thing. But this is kind of what Triple H is going to have to be juggling now. He has to juggle like you have so many talented people. How in the hell are you going to keep them all happy? So, thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So we have an update on Sami Zayn and his injury. This is from TGRWrestling.net. On the February 7th edition of SmackDown, Joe Tessitore announced that Sami Zayn is out of action indefinitely following the attack. It was noted that Zayn is apparently suffering from spinal compression and extreme nerve damage, but remains to be seen when Zayn will be able to return. So I think they're setting up, this is just my prediction, but I think they're setting this up for WrestleMania. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania as he continues to kind of go after his friends. Now, maybe they're going to do it sooner. Could be for Elimination Chamber as well. And then you have Randy Orton come back at some point and have that at WrestleMania. But I'm loving everything they're telling about this story. They've done such a good job of making us really care about something that has nothing to do with the championship. Now, I know at this point it has something to do with the championship, right? We just saw Kevin Owens fighting Cody for the championship. But when he was attacking Orton, then he attacks Cody. It's like it's so much deeper than just the actual championship. And you see it now with Sami Zayn. The way Owens is kind of doing his little monologues, right? It's awesome. It's really a great way of telling the story, and people are liking it. People are buying into it. People are hating Kevin Owens. The only thing I will say is that I always find myself kind of getting why Kevin Owens is upset. Obviously the announcers are kind of going over the top in terms of like, oh my God, he's all about himself. But when you think about it, it is kind of crazy that the bloodline has done so much shit throughout their time. They've beaten up people. I remember, like I talked about this in a uh, prior video, but I just saw a video that came on my X feed that was like, Kevin Owens handcuffed to the ropes, getting hit with super kicks and chairs and just getting destroyed. And it's like now everybody's buddy buddy with them. And I'm not defending what he did, to Sami Zayn or Randy Orton, but it's just like you can get that. You can get why people would be like, "Are you kidding me?" Like you're siding with the bloodline. These are the people that tried to take me out, and they tried to take you out, and now you're siding with them. So you kind of get it. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to start being a Kevin Owens fan and cheering for him because I kind of get why he's upset. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Nia Jax made some interesting comments. We're reading here from WrestlingWorld.com. Speaking with Joey Carney on the latest edition of the Angle podcast, Nia Jax opened up about the possibility of creating a bloodline in the women's division as well. I think that the boys are doing a great job, and I appreciate that the fans want to include us because it's the biggest story in WWE in all of sports entertainment. But they are doing their own thing, and we're doing our own thing in forging our own path. I think it's possible we form our own female bloodline. I love beating up Naomi, but I wouldn't mind teaming up with her one day whenever Tamina wants to come through and start beating people up. We'll do that as well. I appreciate that what the boys are doing, and I love that our fans want us in it, but we can definitely do our own thing. So, I don't know if this is going to be what they do, but I think the Nia Jax kind of faction angle is fantastic. You saw it with Tiffany Stratton, you're seeing it with Candice now. Um, you know, that's good. I think it helps build stars. I think it kept, Tiffany Stratton before she won her championship and, cashed in. I think it kept her at the forefront of kind of everything that was going on because she was a part of the Nia Jax kind of faction, right? That friend group there. And I think they should consider doing that because you have so much talent. When you include a faction, you're able to get as many of those people on screen at once. And you don't have to do a million of them, but it also helps you out with, Nia Jax as this heel. And she's already super dominant as it is. You add more people into that, and now it's like, who is going to beat her? That's how it's going to feel, and I think that's perfect for your baby faces is having them up against really long odds and being able to overcome it. So I don't know if they're going to do the bloodline necessarily, like the woman's version of that, but they should take the faction idea and apply that to her. Put as many. I mean, you know Chelsea Green right now, right? Her and Piper Niven. She's saying I need more protection. I'm not saying they should be in a faction together, but utilize it, right? Use as many factions as possible. The Bloodline faction has been so successful, it has made multiple stars and it's still creating more. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Everyone. So Blair Davenport was cut from WWE. She was released. Here was the storyline that they were pitching for her. This is from Wrestle Talk. Per Fightful Select, Blair had not been discussed for any creative plans when Fightful asked about her status in November, December, and early January. Blair was recently shown in the background of a segment on SmackDown speaking to Piper Niven, which was seemingly set to see her join up with Piper and Chelsea Green. Fightful notes that Blair was brought to TV recently and pitched down the idea of joining Chelsea and Piper's group, with it going as far as having a Secret Service outfit prepared for her, but it ended up being delayed. So this just feels a little bit unfair, I will say. Like, I think this would have been cool to try out before her release, but I keep like kind of prefacing this with I don't know why they made these cuts. If it's a money reason, I get it. If it's like, hey, we can't be paying the staff to this level, like the amount of wrestlers we have to this level, then we have to get rid of some. That makes sense. But I don't know why some of these things weren't tried out. That's kind of the frustrating thing is WWE is in a phenomenal spot. There's really good main eventers, there's good mid carders, there's a lot of talent up and down, but you can never have too much when you're in a time period like this. Like you look at the tag team division, and it's like, I don't know, the tag team division, it has some like bright spots, but it also just none of it's really landing. The best tag team we have right now is probably, Naomi and Bianca Belair or, Bianca and Jade Cargill when she was there. And don't get me wrong, very good tag team. But even that, it's like that's kind of on an island. And I like DIY. I really do like them. I like the Motor City Machine Guns, and I even like the story, but it just isn't hitting. And I think part of the problem is, you're just not giving it enough of a go. And you look with this, it's like, could she have been in a tag team with someone? Chelsea Green just the other day was talking about needing more security. Could Piper Niven and could that be what we needed? I just feel like unless this was a money thing, I think these people being released, it might come back to bite WWE because as much talent as you have, once you kind of are making all these things, once injuries take place, it's like you could utilize them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. Obviously, she's released, so she's not going to be on WWE TV. So thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So Paul Ellering was among those released from WWE. After his release, he said, at WWE yesterday, the clouds covered the bright sun. Today, the sun shines on a clear and robust future. Hashtag AOP, that's Authors of Pain, the most precious one. So, we'll see where these guys go, but look, I'm sad about this. I love Paul Ellering. Obviously, his ties to the Road Warriors are the reason for that. He was their manager. And so seeing him even nowadays in WWE was such a big, big thing. So they're probably going elsewhere. It looks like these guys are basically a package deal. And we'll see if they show up on AEW or somewhere else. I don't really know where they're going to go, but they are all released from WWE, which kind of stinks. And it kind of calls into question, what's going on next with the Final Testament and all of that. What is it that they're going to be doing? Because these were the two enforcers of it. And I love Paul Ellering. I just, he's one of those guys you can say he's grandfathered in my view, right? Where he could do no wrong, in my opinion, on WWE TV just because he was with the Road Warriors, and anybody that loves wrestling loves the Road Warriors. There's, in my opinion, the most iconic tag team of all time. I mean, it's not even close. When I was little, they were my favorite tag team to play with in any of the games. It's like because they were always the legends in those games, and they were always among my favorite. I remember another thing I loved was the different face paint they used to have, and I used to always try, whether it was like the figures, I'd always try to collect as many of them with different face paint in the games. There was an alternate attire. I remember there was in one of the Legends games, you could have like that yellow and black face paint, which I thought was so cool. I loved that face paint, and it was so much more than like in the SmackDown versus Raws because they usually only gave you one of the different face paints. But this sucks. This sucks. I love Paul Ellering, and I hope they end up back because I think it's just like I don't understand why there's tag teams being released. I want to read up more on it and figure out what exactly is going on. But the tag team division needs a boost. It's not like it's. I feel like I mean maybe they just weren't over. Certainly, but I don't know. I feel like WWE is missing an opportunity with some of these tag teams. It's like you need tag teams. The tag team division is suffering. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time, everyone. So in an interview with Screen Rant, Trish Stratus attacked this WWE champion. I would tell Chelsea Green to stop being such a bitch. That might help. People really dislike her, and sometimes in life you won't get far if you're disliked. You may become US champion, but a lot of people don't like you and people want friends. So Chelsea Green, if you want friends, stop being a bitch. She then praised Lyra Valkyria. And Lyra is awesome, and I'm so excited to see her get this opportunity. I feel like she came in with a bang, and I was waiting for the momentum. It felt like it stopped a little bit. I think this is a great way to catapult her and just continue the momentum that she deserves. So the reason I thought this was interesting is because Trish Stratus is rumored to be a bigger part of WWE now, right? She's going to be back in the swing of things. She was at the Royal Rumble, and now supposedly she might be on episodes going forward. Could this possibly be her next opponent, right? Chelsea Green. We know that Chelsea Green is the crazy thing about Chelsea Green is although she's a heel, the fans love her. The fans are really starting to love her. So I don't know if WWE wants to put Trish Stratus in that situation where it's like you're going up against the kind of silly heel, but people actually like her now. So there's like a chance that Trish Stratus is the one getting booed and stuff like that. Not, we haven't heard anything about this, but I feel like the fact that she's bringing this up in an interview at all might lead you to believe that there's a chance that this is the kind of feud they're going for at some point. And obviously, you're making sure that you're giving Trish Stratus some kind of title shot, but it's not throwing her into the main event, right? You're just keeping, because Trish Stratus is one of the greatest, women's wrestlers of all time. But I don't think right now is a great time considering all the top talent in the main event scene. You don't want to just throw her into the main event scene. So having her fight for the Women's United States Championship, I think would be pretty cool. Also going for Lyra's, that would be pretty cool in itself. But that's why I thought this was an interesting comment, because maybe that's setting that up. Anytime anyone says anything, even in any of these interviews, you think maybe they're setting something up. So thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So we're going to be reading right from WWE 2K.com on their gameplay options. And it tells me the read time on this is 8 minutes and 6 seconds. So buckle up because we're going to be doing a lot of reading. So, as is the road to WrestleMania, we are now finally on the road to WWE 2K25, which releases on March 14th, 2025, or with early access on March 7th for those who purchase the digital only Deadman or the Bloodline edition. In this first ringside report, we are going to be covering intergender matches, chain wrestling, submission minigame, barricade interactions, ladder match updates, new third person camera, AI settings for movesets. So, first, we're going to be looking at intergender matches, and they have a picture, it looks like, of China on here. So, it looks like she will be in the game, and Eddie Guerrero. So, he'll be in the game. Fans have been clamoring for years, and we're ecstatic to finally bring you intergender matches this year for the first time in WWE 2K franchise history. The ability to match up WWE superstars and legends from both the men's and women's division opens up a lot of opportunities within the game, whether you're taking on friends in local or online play or expanding your creative ideas and universe. The possibilities are exciting with the support in various areas of the game. Want to pit the ninth wonder of the world, China, against Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero? Or how about revisiting Nia Jax entering the men's Royal Rumble? It's all possible in WWE 2K25. Intergender matches are supported for nearly every match type, including one-on-one, tag team, triple threat, battle royal, guest referee, underground, casket match, tournament, and more. For tag team matches, you will still have the ability to choose the traditional mixed tag match setup, but also can now add a regular 2v2 where the men and the women can battle it out in the ring without having to tag out to their respective partners. The inclusion of intergender match support also extends to some non traditional parts of the game, such as championships. Custom championships can be set up to support both the men and the women, so it can be put up in intergender title matches, which also includes the ability to set up intergender tag team titles. So if you want to create new intergender championships and crown Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest as champs, you could do that too. There are a couple of existing championships, such as the 24/7 up, up, down, down, and left, right titles that will also support both divisions. So we'll stop for there, and then we'll keep reading through, but give our thoughts on this. This is cool. I don't know. This isn't necessarily like the biggest thing in the world for me. Like I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of these matches when we record stuff for the channel, but it's way better, right? Having this in the game, and the fact that you can have these different titles, and the fact that they didn't just say, we're going to get rid of the mixed tag matches, because obviously with the mixed tag, I believe you can only have the woman fighting the woman and the men fighting the men in a mixed tag. So keeping both so you could have all the options, I think is really cool. All right, chain wrestling returns. We had been hearing from many of our fans that there was a desire for chain wrestling to return to the WWE 2K franchise, and we are happy to announce it is indeed back. For the uninitiated, chain wrestling is a test of technical skill that often occurs at the start of 1v1 matches, with competitors trading holds back and forth to inflict damage and prove who is the most proficient wrestler. In WWE 2K25, wrestlers start the match with a chain wrestling buff, which will trigger this mechanic from a grapple. The chain wrestling minigame has been updated to provide more control. Each player will select the action they want to perform, such as switch to a new hold, wrench in the current hold, or drive to the ropes. Then a hotspot minigame determines who will win the hold and perform their selected action. Chain wrestling won't occur in non-standard match types or in matches involving the new giant archetype. It also can be customized in the gameplay settings. It's a highly requested addition to the gameplay experience that adds to the realism and authenticity of a WWE match. So, I don't know how this is going to work per se, but once again, they're saying, hey, it's highly requested. People want this. And two, that it, is more realistic. Now, I'm one of these people who, as much as I love the realism, the arcadey WWE matches are cool. Like the old games are cool, but I like this. I think it's a good way to start. It's going to be a level of realism, and it's hopefully simple. That to me is the key with these wrestling games is Make them simple. Make them have complex things you could do for people who play them a lot, but make it easy for people just getting into them to be able to do what they want. Don't make it complicated. And from the image they have here, it doesn't look like they're doing that. Alternate submission minigame is back. Speaking of minigames, we've updated our submission minigame to offer an alternative to the button mashing option. In WWE 2K25, you can now switch things up and use the slider based minigame, which prompts players to use the left and right triggers to move the slider around the circles shown on the screen. Your opponent will, of course, try to move their slider out of the way, while it's up to you to try to overlap it to either escape if you're on the receiving end or get them to tap out if you're on offense. The button mash option is still there, of course, for those that prefer that method. I love this. This is what I'm talking about when you're allowing people to customize which version they like more. Some people might not love the bushing mash. In this case, you could just change it up. I love that. Barricade climbing, pretty cool stuff. So jumping off things is always a fun visual, and this year we're adding a few extra wrinkles to this part of the game. Over the years, we've seen WWE superstars such as Kofi Kingston make use of the barricades around the ring to gain a heightened advantage and launch themselves at their opponents for an aerial assault. And while we've given players the ability to use them to throw or slam their foes onto them, this year we're taking it a step further or higher in this case. A variety of barricade styles are supported, and you'll now be able to climb on top and pull off a move depending on the moveset of the superstar you have chosen or how you've customized your dives. You can even walk along the barricades like a balance beam to set up your dive. Similar to the top rope, the barricade can be climbed facing forward or backward. When standing below an opponent who is on the barricade, players can perform new contextual attacks to bring them crashing down to ringside. Some of these attacks can transition into carry, allowing you to pull someone off the barricade and then slam them into the ring post or onto the apron. Another new feature of barricades is the ability to damage the LEDs for those that have them. A strong Irish whip or an attack against those LEDs could cause them to break and pixelate. This is awesome. Having them break makes the matches more gruesome. The ability to walk on them, all of these little things are absolutely phenomenal. No problem with it. I love it. Ladder match updates. Ladder matches, known for their high stakes and high levels of mayhem, have received some updates in WWE 2K25 as well. And WWE 2K25, we have completely redesigned the minigame in a way that better captures the tension and drama of a typical ladder match. This new mini game is broken down into multiple stages, with each new stage bringing the player one step closer to victory. As part of the mini game, players are prompted to press a series of buttons before the timer expires, succeed, and move on to the next stage, while failure will send you back to the beginning. And in a new twist, players can continue playing the game while hanging from the prize. To start, there's a new mini game when reaching for the briefcase that will prompt players to press corresponding buttons before the timer runs out. With all new animations, in addition, players who find themselves hanging from the object above the ring while the ladder has fallen down can still attempt to win the match. So that's cool. That's another cool addition. Lastly, adding to the fun, finishers and signatures can now be activated from the top of the ladder for superstars who have those as part of their movesets from the top rope. Eddie Guerrero, for instance, can do his frog splash, while Macho Man Randy Savage can pull off his big elbow or double axe handle from the top of the ladder. So, look, this all sounds great. They're making, I think, slight changes to some of these things that make them better. We'll see how this happens with the different ladder matches. Like if the new mini games are cool, or it feels kind of too like robot-y. But so this looks cool, and the ability to do your finisher off the top is key. But it looks like only certain people could do it if you have that as part of your move set. Um, so I don't know. I don't know how many that's going to be, but I hope it's as many as possible. Like, can you do if there's two people on the ladder, can you do like a power bomb off it and stuff like that? Third person camera option. Finally, we have the debut of the new third person camera in WWE 2K25 that opens up creative ways to experience gameplay. Whether you're a content creator or simply like to mix things up, the new camera controls bring the game to life in a new way. When activated, players can control an over-the-shoulder camera that follows your chosen superstars where they go. With the right analog stick, you can rotate the camera around the superstar or angle it high and low. This can be accomplished both during an entrance, which will come up as an option once it begins, or during a match as part of the presentation. You can either turn on the third person camera in the pause menu or before a match begins. This movement of the camera during a match can be pulled off at any time. To perform an action using right stick, such as pinfall or picking up your opponent, simply hold the right trigger before flicking the analog stick. In practice, it's a really cool way to show off different angles and putting you in the director's chair of the show. We can't wait to see how players make use of it once the game is available. This is, we'll be trying this out in some of our videos on it, utilizing that third person camera to kind of tell a story. AI settings for movesets. The WWE 2K franchise has long featured deep customization of superstar movesets with hundreds of slots to assign strikes, grapples, and dives for every situation. This year, WWE 2K25 takes this system a step further by empowering players to customize how and when AI performs their desired assigned moveset attacks. When viewing a move assignment and create a moveset, players will see how a new option to edit the AI settings for that specific move. This allows you to adjust the priority, repetition, and timing settings for the attack. So I don't know anything about this. I'm going to keep, we had a little bit more that we can read actually. Priority. This setting adjusts how likely AI will be to perform the move in general. When set to preferred, AI will have a higher chance of performing the attack. When set to favorite, AI will try their best to perform the move at least once during the match, performing any setup necessary. The low and very low settings will deprioritize this move. Repetition. By default, AI tries not to repeat an attack too soon after it's performed. This setting modifies that behavior. For example, you could discourage any repeats at all or encourage AI to perform the attack multiple times in a row. Timing. This setting allows AI to be particular about the phase of the match in which a move should be performed. Some moves make more sense in the early phase of the match, while other moves should be saved into the late phase of a match when both superstars have been worn down. AI settings are available for over 150 moveset slots, including springboards, dives, and submissions. Since AI settings are saved as part of the movesets, they are fully supported by community creations. We have so much more to talk about, but we'll save it for an upcoming Ringside Reports, which will cover different game modes, match types, and more. So stay tuned. What a Ringside Report that was. I mean, that AI stuff sounds pretty crazy because what I'm thinking of is if, like in WWE, certain moves, you only use them once or twice in a match, right? Certain wrestlers, maybe it's not their finisher, but it's a type of big move they use. So now you could really get into it and adjust it for that. So there's just so much here. The third person camera, the change in, I mean, I love this. I absolutely love this. 2K24 was fantastic. And it still is. And I think they're really building on this. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated. Thank you all for watching. Everyone. So Natalia had some interesting things to say about the Netflix premiere. Here's what she said. We were the #1 rated show on Netflix, which for WWE, this is such a big deal. It's the biggest thing that's ever happened to the company, in my opinion. It's bigger than anything that we've ever done. It's bigger than the first WrestleMania. It's bigger than the territories being bought. It's big because we're opening up our world of WWE to 280 million plus subscribers that have access to Netflix, including Canada. It's just so huge. We all are fighting every year. For example, all the girls, all the guys, everybody every year wants to be on WrestleMania because it's a stadium, it's WrestleMania, and it's amazing. I was thinking about the show that I was fighting to be on, and I was like, I wish I could be on the very first Netflix debut. So, I think it shows you what's going on in WWE right now, right? This is a perfect kind of view of how people in the locker room feel is they feel like WWE is this rocket ship that they're just trying to be able to be along for the ride for. So that even if you're just on the Netflix debut in a small way or in WrestleMania, even if it's, in the mid card section or not in the main event, it still means so much. And I think it's telling. This is why the more talent you get, WWE's did some releasing, right? They released a bunch of people, and it just shows this business is not getting easier; it's getting tougher in terms of the competitive nature of people at the top. Now, obviously, back in the day, the travel and you know, there was a lot more of the physical stuff that you had to deal with back in the day, but there is so much talent right now. There just really is, and it's tough to kind of make your own way. Even legends, even people like Natalia, who it's like it's tough to like. Where do you, which feud do you put her in? Like, how do you get her into these angles? Because you don't want to force people into places. If you force them into storylines, the fans turn it off. The fans don't like that. They don't, even if someone's a legend, they don't like a legend coming in and taking what is a well-built storyline away from somebody. So it's really hard. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Seth Rollins attacked Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. He justified it on the Rich Eisen show. Here's what he said. You've got to understand the history. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. For the last 4 years, the tribal chief has not been very kind to the people closest to him. Okay. So, people get what they deserve sometimes. They've got to make apologies. They've got to make amends. They've got to do things right. Roman Reigns gets what's coming to him. You've got to understand that. So maybe this will be a teaching moment for you as a father. You know, one of the interesting things with the whole, bloodline Roman Reigns storyline is that every time I'm scrolling down Twitter, right? Every time I'm scrolling down Twitter or now X, and you see an old clip of the bloodline, this is when they were the bad guys, 100% the bad guys. Anytime you scroll down and there's Jimmy, there's Jay, everybody's there, and you realize these guys were bad. I mean, there's that clip of them beating the crap out of Kevin Owens and they got him, handcuffed. This is when Sami Zayn was also a member of the bloodline, and they were bad guys. And it's crazy how they really, Roman Reigns has really never taken any sort of apology or anything. Like he's never apologized or done anything besides, just he's over. The fans now love him. And I thought that was so interesting. And I kind of thought back to a lot of what Kevin Owens has been saying and a lot of what Seth Rollins is saying here. And I think WWE should lean into that a lot more because it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense why good guys like Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens would end up turning heel because of the bloodline, because they see now the bloodline's over. The bloodline is, viewed so favorably. People that have been attacked by the bloodline, people that have been, screwed over by the bloodline are now watching as the bloodline is praised and viewed in a babyface way. And I just think this is a really cool storyline to go down. So I like that Seth Rollins is making this case. I like when Kevin Owens makes it, and I like now with Seth Rollins because it makes it make sense. It's not okay. We need to have a bad guy, so we're going to make one of these guys go bad. It actually makes some sense. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So we've been pretty supportive, pretty supportive of the John Cena farewell tour so far. I just think it's phenomenal, and I honestly got to say that this tweet that I read, it just put it all together for me to how great it's been. So this is from Russell Purist. With 36 dates left on John Cena's WWE contract for 2025, he'll only have done 3 in the first 2 months, leaving him with 33 in the last 43 weeks of the year. This means he'll be almost a regular weekly character when he's done with the current movie he's filming. This is from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So that's where they're citing this from. So I'll read the first part again. With 36 dates left, 33 of those are going to be used in the last 43 weeks of the year. So there's going to be only 10 weeks that John Cena won't be doing something on WWE TV on the last 43 weeks. So this farewell tour is going great. And Cena's made the most of each appearance. Shows up for the Netflix debut. What does he do? Puts together a promo that holds you all the way into the Rumble. At the Rumble, puts on a great performance. Then after it, he does a great job at the press conference of holding us over until Elimination Chamber. So you used all the time you had and you made it worth it. You didn't waste a second. You didn't waste an appearance. And so that means we're going to get a really cool farewell tour down at the end, and he's going to be really bought in. So look, I'm fine with if he, I'm completely fine if he ends up winning the Elimination Chamber. I'm fine with him sitting out until WrestleMania. I mean, maybe you have him go on one show, right? They further build it. But if he could deliver a great press conference, or they could play it on Raw one of the days or SmackDown or something like that, I have no problem with him waiting out so that we can get him weekly all the way through the end of the year. I think that's the best way to do it, so he really is a fixture. And they have to make sure that once he's on more often, they continue to deliver at a high level. Because, like I said, he's only been on a few times since the start of this year, and every time he's on, it's been phenomenal. And I think this is the reason they're doing it. There was obviously the movie, which probably played a part, but I think they might have done it this way anyways. I think they understand that saving these for the end is probably better. You want as much John Cena towards the end of this farewell tour as possible. So I think this is more evidence and kind of what we've been saying. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So a bunch of WWE superstars were released from the company. So we're reading a tweet here from Elite Rockers. All of the confirmed WWE superstar releases so far: Cedric Alexander, Paul Ellering, Akam, Rezar, Sony Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. So it's always sad. It's always sad to see people get released. And to me, the most shocking name on this list is Sonya Deville. I actually kind of liked Pure Fusion Collective. I didn't necessarily love the name. I thought the name didn't, that's not like that's not one of those names you're like, that faction's gonna work out. But I did like the kind of dynamic that they had. And so it's sad, and WWE is a company. And it's tough when you have as much talent as they do to get these people on screen and to put them in their best spots. Like even Sonya Deville. It's like Pure Fusion Collective, I thought that could have worked out, but they just couldn't get the right storylines. And I want to read a little bit more up on, and maybe we'll get more information over the coming weeks as to why they made these releases, because I thought you could have given Sonya Deville and, Pure Fusion Collective, to say the least, more time. I thought you could have given that more time. Now, Shayna Baszler, she's still there, right? And I'm forgetting the name of the other one in Pure Fusion Collective, but they're still, I guess, with the company. So it was just Sonya Deville that they're getting rid of. But the tag team division on both sides, it is a little bit weak right now, and it's not because they don't have. I actually kind of like the DIY thing that they got going on right now, right? DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns. Like I kind of do like the storyline. It's just it's not hitting for whatever reason. And on the women's side, you have Naomi and Bianca Belair, and they've done a fantastic job, even when Jade Cargill was there, her too, of kind of spicing up the women's tag team division. But it's still not necessarily a great time for tag team wrestling in the WWE. So it's kind of sad when you see multiple tag teams. And Paul Ellering to me is the craziest because obviously, if you're a fan of the Legion of Doom, he's a legend. He is a Hall of Famer. So he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. It's sad to see him go, and it sucks because I don't know how that impacts, the final testament here. I don't know what they do with that. So there's a lot to be seen. But I want to read up more and see if any reports come out as to why this happened. Was it actually financial reasons, or was it just like these people aren't going to work out right now? Was it a thing where they're just like, we could pay these people, but they're not performing to the level that we want them to? Like what the reasoning was, I guess we will see. So thank you all for watching.